Hey everybody, this is Johannes from DBN. I just want to take you really quick through Collator APRs in Moonbeam and why are they so different between our website at StakeGlmr.com, at Web3Go, and in DappLooker. So case in point, Dominode has an APR of 2% in DappLooker. It has an APR of 190% in Web3Go, and it has an APR of 42% in StakeGlmr.com. So go figure, right? Well, let me just give me a second here to explain how APR is calculated and what it's based on. So there are two numbers that define Collator APR. There are more numbers, but every other number is the same for all collators. So the only ones that matter on a per collator basis are blocks per round and counted backing. Blocks per round looks kind of like this. So it has a lot of volatility. And counted backing looks something like this. So it's kind of steady, then it goes up, then it's steady, then it goes up. Sometimes it goes down too. But mostly has been going up for the past 24 hours, especially due to the Take Flight event. So we just want to know what these values will be in the future, as simple as that, in order to calculate the APR. And if I knew what this number would be tomorrow, and this number would be tomorrow, then I could tell you the APR of tomorrow. So how do we calculate the tomorrow value of blocks per round? Well, the most fair thing we can do is just take the average of blocks per round. And that should give us an indication of what this value will be in the future, probably right there. And the other thing that we need to calculate is the future of counted backing. Well, what are we going to do here? Are we going to take the average? No, the average would give us a value around here. So what we actually need to do, should do, is take the last value. We could take an opinionative approach and say that this is going to be here or here, but we don't want to do that. We just want to say that, you know what, this is what we know, this is the last point, that last data point, and that gives us this APR. And that's exactly what StakeGlmr does. It just takes these two numbers, then plugs them into the formula and gives you back the APR. So are these numbers so different from the other two websites? Well, the other two websites are doing something very different. Instead of taking these two different numbers here and calculating them, they take samples from the delegator earnings over the past few rounds. So they say, okay, so this delegator made that much. They staked that much. And they made that much in the last round. In the round before that, they staked that much, and they made that much. So what does that mean? Well, they have one number. They don't have two numbers. They don't have blocks per round accounted backing. They just have one number, earnings. And what does that number contain? Well, it contains the history of blocks per round. And if they average that, that would be a line. And that actually would actually stop right here because blocks per round, earnings have a 2 round delay, so that's 12 hours. So they don't know this yet because the earnings haven't been given for that. So they stop right here. They take the average of that. And then they also take the average of this. Why do they take the average of this? Because they only have one number. They need to take, when they average the number, they're basically averaging both numbers. So they're basically taking this and this. And that is why the numbers are so different from ours, especially in a market where this thing has been growing like crazy. That's why their APRs are also much larger at some points. Now, the reason why Web3Go's APRs yesterday was all over the place was because they were not even averaging. So they were just taking 1 point here, 1 point there, 1 point there for each collator. And some collators that were very lucky to have, a very last round, good round, had a very high APR. And they got lots of delegations. Unfair, but just, the way things were, I guess. So at the end of the day, if you think that taking the average of this and the average of this, if that's good for you, then you shouldn't use StakeGlmr. But I think that our approach is sound, and I think that any mathematician would agree with that. So hopefully now you know a bit more about how this thing works. It's really not that difficult, and you can make more educated approaches, decisions in the future. Thank you.